Hi everyone, it's Kristen Rocco here of Love Notary. Happy holidays. This is most certainly my favorite time of year. How can you deny all the Christmas decorations, the lights, and just that magical feeling? And what it means too is that 2017 is right around the corner. It is definitely the time where you kind of enter into the new year with a fresh mindset, a new approach, and you kind of want to just like cleanse all of the stuff and give yourself a new start. So that's why today I am bringing in Cristina Goebel of Plan the Day. She is going to talk to us all about wedding or some tips for wedding planning bliss in 2017. She's going to give you some ideas about how you can make your planning more or less stressful and more kisses, she says, so you can have more kisses. So before I let Cristina dive in, I just want to introduce her a little bit more. She is the co-founder and president of Plan the Day. Plan the Day is this awesome, amazing wedding planning tool, you guys. It's an online wedding planning organizer. She can tell you a little bit more when she comes on, but she's been in the events industry since 2008, and she graduated from Purdue with a bachelor's in science and hospitality and tourism management. Outside of running Plan the Day, Cristina is on the board of the International Live Events Association as the director of strategic partnerships. She does a lot of other things in her spare time, but obviously she's enjoying being married to her husband, Matt. She loves traveling, and they have a sweet puppy named Indy. So with that, Cristina, welcome.
Thank you so much, Kristen, for the kind introduction. I'm super excited about our chat today because it's just so important. And I'm all about, hey, when you get engaged, it should be fun. It should not be stressful. Less stress, more kisses, right?
I love that so much. It makes me smile every time you say something like that. So yes, I agree. And I think 2017 and wedding planning in 2017, let's all embrace the idea of less stress, more kisses.
Yes.
So before we dive into some of the tips you have to share today, do you want to give us a little background about Plan the Day, how you started it, and how it helps engaged couples?
Yeah, I'll give you just a quick little background. Plan the Day is just your online wedding planning organizer. So really everything you need to plan your wedding all in one place. So everything from your wedding website to your guest list where you can do online RSVPs, your checklist, which is based on your wedding date, and so much more. There's so much more to it. I think what really makes us stand out is that it's a husband and wife team that started this business off of their wedding planning experience that was very stressful, and we just wanted to provide something to engage couples that would just help them to really alleviate that stress. And something really different about it too is you can invite people in to help you throughout the process. So I think something I really lacked in my wedding planning process is really asking for help, and it's something that I always recommend. So it is actually one of my tips. I won't go into it too much since we'll be going into it, but pretty much, yeah, that's what we do. And we're really passionate about it and just love hearing from our clients and how much we've been helping them.
Yeah, so it's almost like taking like a handwritten to-do list where I stored all of my wedding planning to-dos and really taking it to the next level. You guys have a guest list integration. You even have Pinterest integration. It is this like evolved digital planning experience, you guys. So if you haven't checked out Plan the Day, definitely do that. They're at plantheday.com. Okay, so let's get started to tip number one about wedding planning tips for 2017. Where should these newly engaged or even, engaged even for a minute, start in their wedding planning journey to really have the best success?
So my first tip that I always like to tell engaged couples is enjoy being engaged. And that can be easier said than done because as soon as you get engaged, people are already asking, so what are you thinking? Are you wanting to do, like, where do you want to get married? Like, is it going to be in this location, or how many people are you thinking? Like, people already start to ask you questions. And I always like to recommend kind of just hold that back, and it's okay to say, we're really enjoying just this moment right now. And we'll get to that, maybe in a week or in a few days, and you'll know more about it. So some things I really like to tell couples is take a few days to just enjoy being engaged. Go get your nails done. Share your engagement story with friends over brunch and mimosas.
I love that.
Yeah, why not? Like, this should be so much fun. You got time to plan. I will say that, though, let's say you're getting married in like 5 months, then this little enjoyment engagement process needs to be like shorter.
For sure.
So definitely based on how much time you have to plan your wedding, for sure, is key.
That's true. And I tell this story a lot, but I'm going to reiterate it here because I think it's really helpful. My tip is when people ask you questions and that, like, you just got engaged and somebody's already asking for your wedding date, I always say, you know what, I'm so excited about my engagement. This just happened. I'm not actually thinking about wedding planning at this exact moment, but I'll definitely wrap you in when I am there.
That is such a perfect response.
So it just allows you to like have that space, because you want to go out and like celebrate with friends and family, and not so much like on, oh gosh, now we're right into the midst of it right away. So
absolutely.
Okay, cool. So then when you've hopefully enjoyed your engagement, you've talked and shared the story with your friends and family. What is the number one place for people to start when they are wedding planning? How do they even get started?
I really highly recommend creating a budget first.
Okay.
So sitting down with your fiance and really thinking through, okay, what is our budget? And really trying to stick to that. And the reason why I say that is because so much of your wedding planning process and in making decisions is going to come down to what you can spend in each specific bucket. So whether that is DJ, photographer, venue, food, I mean, so much goes into it. So I always say, try and really nail down your budget. If you're struggling with that, then maybe start creating your guest list. And maybe even write down like your top 5, like here are the top 5 things that are really important to me that I'm not going to negotiate on. So to kind of elaborate a little bit more on that, the reason why I say create your budget first and then maybe your guest list next is because it's going to determine how big your venue is. It's going to determine the food and beverage price, right? So how much you can pay for each plate for your guests. And also you just don't, let's say you fall in love with a certain venue, but it's more important for you to have the people that you want there. And let's say that venue, let's say you're having 200 people and that venue only fits like 125, right?
Yep.
Then you have to think about that. So having an idea of, okay, here's my budget, here's how many people can be really, really important.
That's true. You know, I never really thought about I thought about my guest list in a very intangible way when I first got started. I knew my budget, and that was obviously the first conversation pretty much that we had. And I was really strict on that budget. So it seems like I was taking your tips into good advice. But when it came to the guest list, I don't think that we put that together until maybe like 3 or 4, or well, maybe 6 months out. Yeah, like right as we were thinking about the wedding invitations, I'm glad now that you're saying all of that, knock on wood, my venue could accommodate a number of people. Because if we had invited, for instance, over the number of people, like you always invite over the number of people that you can accommodate just because people will be no-shows, right? But had we gone super over that number, what would we have done? We had already booked the venue.
Right. Yeah, that's absolutely so true. And it's not even just that part of it too. It's also the aspect of, let's say, even just with the people that you're inviting, right? So you just want to make sure that you have that number down correct, because each venue, when it comes to food and beverage cost, is going to be different. So let's say you want to invite this many people, but then when you look at the venue and how much each plate costs, you're like, man, that doesn't fit in our budget. So then at that point, you have to decide, okay, is the venue more important to me, or are the people coming more important to me? And if the people coming are more important to you, then maybe you just look at some other venues that are more in your price range when it comes to paying for each plate for each person. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think what is really important for engaged couples to know is that there is no like right or wrong way to do this, you know, and that so many people have planned weddings on like a, you know, do it yourself. You know, there's so many do it yourself couples out there, and I think it makes it more intimate. So you just kind of do what's right for you. But I definitely feel like this is something that if you figure out early on, it will, you don't have to worry about it later on. So.
And it seems like it'll give you more clarity when you're making decisions all across the board.
Absolutely, which actually goes into my next one. But
cool. All right, let's talk about it. No, let's talk about your next tip.
So my next one was when you're choosing your venue is like huge. Okay, so you have your budget, you have your guest list. Now choosing that venue, right? And this is such a big decision, and you just nailed it when you said so many other decisions fall in line afterwards. And the reason being with the venue is you have to know what they provide and what they don't provide, right? So do they require you to go with their caterer in-house, or can you bring in other caterers outside, from outside the venue? That's a big decision. Is the cost built in when it comes to the linen and the plates and the silverware and the chairs, or is that an additional cost? So I always say try and choose a venue next, because as soon as possible, because everything else kind of aligns with that as well.
Yeah, that's an interesting point that I hadn't really considered. But now that I think back to what we were talking about previously in step 2, you mentioned in addition to creating the budget, you also maybe create your list of priorities. So are you going to spend more on flowers or more on music?
Right.
And the venue might have a preferred vendor list. And so maybe you want to go with this photographer that you know of her beautiful work because you've seen it on Instagram, but the venue will only allow you to use this contracted photographer.
Right.
So your suggestion makes a whole lot of sense, because it is about figuring out what your priorities are in terms of what's really important to you on your wedding day, and then making sure that the venue sort of is not only something beautiful and a place that you could see yourself getting married in, but also a place that's going to allow you the flexibility that you want in your whole entire wedding planning experience.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And another big thing too is if you're not dead set on a certain date, that provides you with more choices for your venue as well, which can be really nice. So,
okay, so talk to me a little bit about the dates. What is your opinion? So, you know, obviously the popular wedding day is Saturday, either not brunch, I'm losing it, but afternoon or evening.
Right. Yep.
However, if you are limited on budget, but you still want the venue that you have fallen in love with, you can get married on a different day of the week for a cheaper option.
Yes, and I'm so glad you brought this up, because Friday is another day that is less expensive. But
I got married on Friday, you guys, and it worked out great. Yes.
It does. It really does. I just went to a wedding in November that was on a Friday, and it was actually really awesome. And the reason is I still had Saturday and Sunday.
Yes.
And I kind of really liked that. That was really nice. And they saved a ton of money. And the wedding was just gorgeous. And she did a lot of like do it yourself kind of style. Like a lot of her family came in and like did certain pieces of it with the decor and stuff, and it was gorgeous. But and then Sunday, I have a friend getting married next August on a Sunday.
Yes.
And they're saving a ton of money doing that. So I think it's brilliant. I think it's so smart.
Yeah, I agree. I think, you know, just from my personal experience with getting married on a Friday as the bride, it was great because we didn't have to whisk away on our honeymoon the day, no, not even the day after, the morning after we got married. We had Saturday and half of Sunday to enjoy with our wedding guests.
Yeah.
Both my husband and I agree that was like The most amazing part of your wedding is having all your friends and family who wouldn't typically be in the same room in the same room. And when you can extend that out over the length of a weekend instead of just maybe a couple hours that evening, it just makes it so much more, just so much more of a celebration is how I felt about that.
Absolutely. I definitely agree. It was funny because when our wedding was over, I was just kind of in this, like, it was kind of sad for a little bit. And it was because my family's from Puerto Rico, and to have them here and then to have Matt's family, you know, my husband's family there too. I started thinking, oh my gosh, when is this going to happen ever again? We have both families together. And that was so special. So for you to be able to spend even more time with them, I think is just so great. So
did you go on your honeymoon right after, like, the Sunday?
I think we went on Monday. So we had our wedding on a Saturday, and then we did like Sunday brunch with our guests and just close family and friends. And then we left Monday, which I'm so glad we did that too. Oh my gosh. So you can like breathe and get ready, and it was great. Yeah. So.
Okay, so let's move on to tip number 4. We talked about so just to recap for everybody watching, we talked about enjoying your engagement as the absolute first thing you should do for wedding planning Bliss in 2017. Then we talked about the importance of creating a budget and really examining your priorities in terms of what's important to you through the wedding, for your wedding, so that you know where to allocate more of your budget. Then we talked about creating a guest list and choosing a venue. And now we're on to Christina's tip number 4.
Yes, number 4, get organized is tip number 4. And whether that's a binder or an online tool like Plan the Day, whatever works for you at the end of the day is what is important. And I really just stress this part of it because in the beginning, as you're planning, things are just not as kind of chaotic. Like you're still just making decisions and you have more time too, right? But as the time gets closer, there's all these details, small details that are adding in. And if you don't know, if obviously a lot of us, like when we planned our wedding, it was the first time doing it. We didn't know where to begin. So if you don't have some type of like, whether it's a binder or tool telling you, hey, like, did you think about this, right? You're just not going to automatically think about it. You know, my brain didn't work that way. And week of, I was like, oh no, I didn't think about that I needed some type of like holder for cards to go in. And I know it seems silly because I feel like a lot of people can remember that, but I didn't. I got so bombarded 30 days out with so many other small details that those things that you normally would remember, you just don't. So, and here's what happens is like the last, and you can vouch for this too, Kristen, I feel like the last like 2 or 3 months kind of gets kind of crazy. And if you've got a process in place, whether that's a binder or an online tool, then it just makes it a heck of a lot easier to get everyone on the same page earlier on. So as that time gets closer, they know where they need to be at what time, and you're just getting a lot less questions asked. So a lot less people asking you the same questions over and over and over again. That drove me bonkers.
Yeah, it gets really chaotic, as you were saying. And I think one of the helpful things about Plan the Day as well is that you can invite collaborators into the space. Is that right?
Yep, absolutely. To get them all. So I'll elaborate a little bit on that. So like in the beginning, let's say like maybe your mom is really helping you out with the planning, then you just invite her in and your fiance, right, to help you throughout the process. But as you get later on, when you're creating your timeline, it is such a smart idea to invite in your DJ, photographer, venue, because guess what? They're going to go and plan the day and see your timeline instead of emailing you for the most updated itinerary 10 times like it happened to me. And I was just like, this is crazy. And they have each other's contact information. So instead of you emailing each person individually their contact info or hitting it on a piece of paper, it's all right there for them. So again, it's how we really thought about like, how can we lessen all that communication going back and forth in a platform where it can all happen right there and you can still be in control and see everything that's going on.
Absolutely. Okay, so they're organized. They have a system in place. It's still going to be a little chaotic, but at least there's a system now, right?
Right.
So, okay, now we're on to the last and final tip, which is?
Last one is ask for help. And this is really hard. I'm not going to lie. I had a really hard time with this. And probably the reason being is I just wanted everyone to think I had it all together and I could do it all by myself. And I mean, I'm pretty stubborn. I'm like, I got this. I can do this by myself. I don't need anyone's help. Well, reality is I could have used the help, and it would have been really nice to have the help, because you have people, the people you choose in your bridal party are so excited for you and they want to help you. And so why not? Why not ask them, hey, can you just like look up some like invitation designs for me? You know, maybe on Pinterest, right? And then your bridesmaid could be like, hey, here's some ideas. What do you think? And it just helps you to do one less thing, right? So research can take a lot of time in your planning process. It's crazy. So if they can just take that one little piece off of your plate and then you just decide, oh, I like this one. Okay, then I'll go ahead and go with this one. It can make your life so much easier. So ask for help. Don't be afraid to be open and honest. You know, let's be real. I was working a full-time job and part-time job. I was really busy. I could have used the help.
Yeah, I agree. What are some of the, so you mentioned like doing some research. Are there other things that you think other people could collaborate with you on? I was going to say take off your plate, but that doesn't seem like the right word. It's more of a collaboration.
Right.
What are some of the common things that maybe like a bridesmaids could help out with?
Yeah, that's a really good question. You know, save the dates. I know that kind of falls in line with like the whole invitation piece of it. Anything from like researching DJs in your area, right? Florists in your area, like any type of those little things where they can just give you the options, so you can go do a little bit more research and call those people, or even call them for you. Like, what's wrong with your bridal party? If you can tell them this is what I'm looking for and this is what I need, calling them for you and saying, hey, here's the quote for this, this, and this, and this. Done.
Yeah.
Right.
Ooh, that's good. That's really good.
Yeah, a lot of times some brides want some feedback on the bridesmaids' dresses. So it's been cool to see and plan the day the bride invite in their bridesmaids, and then they're like pinning bridesmaids' dresses and commenting. That can be kind of fun. Again, everyone's different. Hey, Kristen, I'm having trouble hearing you. Can you hear me? I got you back. I got you back. Now I got you. Okay. Sorry, start over.
No, I don't know why that happens sometimes. It's like it's when I have my earphones plugged in. Anyway, I was just saying, I'm sorry, but I don't know where we left off. But I was saying about how maybe working with your bridesmaids initially on their bridesmaids dress selection to get them used to helping you in the way that you might need help. That is a great place to start, because they're invested in the relationship. Or they would be, you know, they're invested in that contribution because they are going to be a bridesmaid, right?
Right. Yeah, absolutely. That's so true. Totally agree. And they know what style flatters them. So maybe if there's a specific style that's more flattering for them. And the really cool thing is the trend right now is not having like the same style or the same color. So I think it makes it a lot more fun to be able to collaborate together on this. Where I feel like years ago, it was just kind of like, you didn't have as many options, in my opinion, you know?
Yes.
So.
Okay, so I know we just got through our 5 tips. Thank you so much for sharing.
Of course. I'm so glad I did.
I just have one more question to ask you.
Yeah.
What are you thinking about the idea of having a theme for your wedding? Like a couple years ago, like barn wedding.
Yeah.
Or I'm trying to think of other like style, like rustic chic. Are we seeing brides and grooms focus on themes anymore moving into 2017? Or, you know, how would you speak to that?
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely think so. I've been to a wedding on Halloween that was Halloween themed. So they had like masks on, and I thought that was super fun. I've also seen like superhero themes. So like maybe the socks are superhero, you know, themed. I've seen colors be themed. You know, I think as we continue into 2017, I think there's going to be just more talk about really making your wedding unique to you, right? Yep. And I think that the whole do-it-yourself concept, I think, is just going to continue to evolve, quite honestly. And I think that's going to actually grow because, I mean, I'm a millennial. I want what, you know, like the way I kind of think is I want things to be unique. You know, like we just kind of seek for ways to really share more about ourselves. And so, yeah, I definitely think it's going to continue for sure. So what do you think?
Well, I created this equation for developing your own theme.
Oh, that's awesome.
It just reflects what you said, which is your theme should reflect who you are as a couple.
Right.
And so the equation is your style plus your personality equals your theme. Yeah. So if you're not, for instance, if you're more high glam versus, you know, I guess the direct contrast to that would be like farmer-esque or something.
Right, yeah.
I think you shouldn't pretend to be something you're not, to be honest.
Absolutely.
I think you go with who you are and make that a part of your day, and don't just make it about you yourself. Also include your joint personality, excuse me. So I do think there's an equation to help you get to your theme. Style plus your personality equals your wedding theme.
I love it. So true.
So thank you very much, Cristina, for joining me today.
Thank you.
To learn more about Plan the Day, you can go to plantheday.com, and there's even an option for signing up for a free account. Yeah. You want to talk a little bit quickly about that?
Yes. So real quick, it's a 30-day free trial, really simple. So you just click sign up on our website, you get a 30-day free trial. And, you know, our wedding planning tool is also actually was built mobile responsive first. So it's really easy and simple to use on your phone. It was really built to be used on the go for the busy professional who wants to, you know, plan their wedding and they want to do it themselves for the most part, right? But have that support system too. So, which is very important.
Thank you. That's awesome. So go to plantheday.com, get your 30-day free trial. You can also head to my website at lovenotary.com and grab your 30 creative ways to bring the love story into your wedding.
Yes. Oh my gosh, do it. It's awesome.
So that'll also help you think more about your unique theme for your wedding.
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, let's do this again sometime soon. I definitely hope that all of our tips have been helpful for you as you get into wedding planning in 2017. And please be in touch with any questions you might have. Bye, everyone.
Bye.